Welcome to episode 2 of Andrew's Sports Zone. I am Andrew, and this is my father, Peter. Last week, we introduced our podcast and everything about that, and we focus on local Beverly sports and just everything about that, and we want to have fun in this podcast. And what do you think? You think our first episode went well?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me again. I thought it did go well. We watched it afterwards. I stumbled a little bit, but recovered quickly. You sounded great, especially your review of the boys varsity football team was excellent. And I look forward to doing this as often as we can. So it's a lot of fun, and let's continue on doing this. What do you want to start off with?
Yeah, so we'll start off with a review of what we two did for BevCam, as we both work for the BevCam Sports Network. For my dad here, he did girls soccer on Monday and boys soccer yesterday and camera work. And for me, I did girls field hockey on Tuesday and boys soccer yesterday. And our first time working together, so that was pretty cool.
How did you like your commentating? Did you enjoy it?
It was a great experience. Obviously, Rich is more experienced than me and knows more about soccer, but I was glad to take a filling in role, and I thought I did fine with the color commentary. Sometimes you do want to be the play-by-play guy, but then you realize, like, sometimes you don't really know a sport that much, and maybe you don't know the rosters or the players by heart like my my colleagues do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. It's good to listen to them and learn from them, and it is, I agree with you, more challenging to do the color commentary. You do have to know the players, the rules, and the game, but you'll pick it up and improve each time. I watched you on the girls field hockey, and that sounded really good. And then I was working the camera, so couldn't hear you on the boys soccer yesterday, but it's good. But what did we do Friday night?
Yeah, Friday night, you might have saw it on the BevCam Sports Network. We brought to BevCam the away game, football game for Gloucester. We edited ourselves, added the BevCam intro, and then a scoreboard throughout. And it was a very fun experience. We hope we can do that for the Beverly away teams in the future, mainly football. But that was really fun to do, and just experience of an away game, and something that I didn't see last year. You really want to just see yourself play on like on a big screen, maybe, and it's great to have an opportunity for the players so they can see themselves just every single game. And I'm excited to do the next game, in which I believe is in Revere, which is pretty far away. But it'll be a fun experience. We can set everything up, and
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. I thought you did really well on your play-by-play announcing, and they were nice to us. We had a great place to set up there in Gloucester, and it was a beautiful evening. And the game itself we'll talk about in a moment, but overall they set us up with the equipment and the technical know-how. Again, that wasn't live, so we had it recorded, but it instantly got it onto disc, did the editing, and put it all together. I think it came out pretty good. It looks like we got a decent number of viewers, probably the players and the family members who wanted to check themselves out after the game. So good job on that. I'm pretty impressed with your performance there.
Yeah, agreed. It was a very fun to do something like that, and I noticed the views, and like I said on the previous episode, it's good to have something that families of players can see, and maybe the players themselves can see how they played. For our plan next week, my father here, he has a volleyball game on Monday, and we both have field hockey on Thursday. Myself, I've signed up for the field hockey in a full season, and maybe some volleyball games in the future. But good luck to you on Monday for that volleyball game. For results of BHS matchups for different sports in the past couple days, nobody's playing today, but we can run through some results. Beverly lost Gloucester 15-7 last Friday night on the 5th of September. They had a first quarter touchdown run from Sean Costa and the extra point by Alexander Marquez for their scoring. They moved to 0-1 in the division and 0-1 on the season, and they're taking on Haverhill this Saturday at Herd Stadium at 11 a.m., so that'll be exciting to see. The girls' soccer on Friday as well, they lost to Danvers at Danvers 3-4. Goals by freshman Jaden Simpson, sophomore Olivia Ancatel, and senior Callie Panjawani for Beverly. On Monday afternoon, they took a win at home against Winthrop, 7-0. Olivia Ancatel again scored with a hat trick, and Jaden Simpson also added 2 more. And senior Grace Williams and junior Genevieve Bellotti contributed 1 each, so that's pretty good to see. And yesterday, on Wednesday, the 10th of September, the girls' varsity soccer team lost to Mascomet 3-0 at their home. And their next game is Saturday at 11:30. If you want to tune into that, or go to the game. Girls field hockey on Saturday afternoon, the 6th of September. They lost to the defending state champions at Andover High School 5-0. And on Tuesday afternoon, they lost at home against Masco 1-4. And their next game is Saturday at Newton. Boys soccer on Friday afternoon, they beat Danvers 5-1. Senior Daniel Silva and sophomore Jackson Merritt each scored 2 goals. Junior Connor Sullivan also scored. And on Monday, they traveled to Winthrop for the 8-0 win. Daniel Silva and Connor Sullivan again, they each scored 3 goals. Sophomore Isaac Esquincala scored 1 goal. And senior defenseman Dariush Afsharian connected on a penalty kick goal for strong performances by both the girls and boys team. And yesterday and Wednesday, they took a 4-2 win at home against Masco, and all 4 goals coming from senior captain Daniel Silva, who was definitely their leading scorer so far. And finally, for girls volleyball and fall sports weekly roundup, on Friday evening, they took a 2-3 loss at home against Revere. The Panthers had the early 2-0 lead before Revere came back to win the next 3 games in the match. On Monday, they had a 3-0 win against Saugus. Great performances by sophomore defensive specialist Althea Pisani-Gross and senior outside hitter Reese Kwiatek, and sophomore middle blocker Julia Marks and junior outside hitter Fiona Long. And on Tuesday evening, they took a 3-1 win at home against Danvers, and their next game is Friday at 6 p.m. if you want to go see them at Beverly High School's field house.
That's a fun and exciting week. Some wins, some losses, but it's been interesting for me. I've enjoyed filming some of the games. The soccer games were pretty fun to try and capture on camera, trying to follow the ball along and not get the viewers too dizzy and not to miss any of the goals. I think I did okay, but it's good. I get to do, I think we said, I'm doing a field hockey one soon, so that ball's even smaller, so we'll see how we can do with that one. And volleyball, I get to try out on Monday night and then see how that filming's out. But all these games are fun. It's good to see the players, see the guys. We watched the boys soccer and I watched the girls soccer last week, and it's just amazing how much running they're doing. Like I on our walk over here, I said I went out for a couple runs this week to try and get myself in shape. But you think like how much effort they're putting in running up and down the field for 60 minutes or however long a soccer game is. It's very impressive and good for all them and their hard work that they're doing. And I hope everyone continues to have a great season. Okay, so where else are we in our outline here on what we're talking about next? Did we cover all of our Beverly High School sports?
Yes, we did.
All right. Looks like we can move into our discussion of our professional sports and go from there.
Discussion of the professional sports. For the first thing I want to look at is specific games and players of interest in the NFL. I was really interested in that Packers and Lions game. You saw the Packers just have that dominant defense and show how Micah Parsons just fit right in that scheme and just like utterly dominated what I think the best offense in football was last year, the Detroit Lions. So I'm really excited to see them tonight. And of course, these episodes are on each Thursday. So this is being filmed on September 11th, 2025 on Thursday. The game tonight is the Washington Commanders versus the Green Bay Packers. And we'll see if that Packers defense can continue to be great and stop Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin and all those guys on the Commanders.
Yeah, Yeah, of the games last week, I found that one the most surprising. Just manhandling Detroit as they did. Their defense, Green Bay's defense, just looked excellent against Detroit. That was quite surprising with all the offensive tools that Detroit has. So, yeah, something to
Yeah,
watch.
and I want to speak quickly about that the Bills and Ravens game. That was a great game. If you stayed up long enough to watch just everything that happened in that game, that was amazing. I myself stayed up to watch that one, and I witnessed the team I cheer for, the Buffalo Bills, come back down, I believe, 16 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And it was a fantastic game from both sides, and you just got to give it to the effort of the Bills. And Josh Allen already looks in MVP form there for the Buffalo Bills, so it's going to be exciting season for both of those teams, and we might see them again in the AFC Championship with the Kansas City Chiefs taking a little step back.
Couple quality teams and an exciting ending, and that did bring it back. And I think they even mentioned it on the broadcast. Brought us back to that January 3rd, 1993 game where Frank Reich, backup quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, brings the Bills back against the Houston Oilers. They were down 28-3 at halftime, and then in the third quarter they were down 35-3. All the fans started leaving. Nobody paid attention, didn't give them a chance, and they come back and win the game 41-38. So that had that kind of energy, that kind of excitement. And the same thing happened. You know, a lot of people, it was a late game. People have been watching football all night long. Stop to pay attention and think, okay, let's just chalk this one up a loss and go on to the next one. But I was in my room. I was stopped watching. You continued to watch because being a good fan that you are, you came in and said, you got to see this game. And I'm glad you did because we got to watch the last few minutes. And, boy, that was excitement. That's the kind of stuff you really hope for, especially for like a week one, just start of the season against a couple of good powerhouse teams. So that's a great start to the NFL season. So why don't we just go down our last week's game results and our picks and so forth, and so on, and see how we did and who won and who lost.
Okay, for the Thursday night football game a week ago now, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys 24-20. The Los Angeles Chargers beat the Kansas City Chiefs 27-21. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Atlanta Falcons 23-20. The Cincinnati Bengals beat the Cleveland Browns 17-16. The Indianapolis Colts beat the Miami Dolphins 33-8. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Carolina Panthers 26-10. The Las Vegas Raiders beat the New England Patriots 20-13. The Arizona Diamondbacks beat the New Orleans Saints 20-13. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets in a bit of a shootout. The Steelers won that one 34-32. The Washington Commanders beat the New York Giants 21-8. The Broncos beat the Titans 20-12. The 49ers beat the Seahawks 17-13. The Packers beat Detroit 27-13. The Rams beat the Texans 14-9, and the Buffalo Bills beat the Baltimore Ravens 41-40. And finally, for Week 1, the Minnesota Vikings beat the Chicago Bears 27-24. That was this Monday.
Yeah, so a lot of exciting games, and those first the early afternoon games. The early games I thought were all exciting throughout, and then those late afternoon games kind of, to me, seemed like they got off to a slower start, but still had exciting endings at the end. That Pittsburgh game, Pittsburgh at the Jets, I had picked the Jets because I said I'm not a big fan of Aaron Rodgers for Pittsburgh, but, man, he came out like, you're ready to count him as done. But he comes out and has an impressive performance last week. A lot of good stuff. I'll share some of my thoughts as I was just jotting them down, if I may. During the games, I had like Tua Tagovailoa from Miami. I just wrote he's just junk. Interceptions, fumbles. Miami will have a long and difficult season if they continue to look like that. Arizona didn't look as good as I thought they would against the Saints, but Marvin Harrison Jr. had a slow start, but then came on pretty good. So let's watch him. Russell Wilson was throwing a bunch of risky passes, I thought, and he's going to get a pick six any day now. DK Metcalf, good target for Rodgers, who I just mentioned from Pittsburgh. That's going to be a good combination, I think, going forward in the season. We're local, so we should talk about the Patriots. It was unfortunate they lost. I did pick Las Vegas myself, but we always want to cheer on for the Patriots, hope they win. And I did think Drake May looked a little better than I thought he would be. It depends on who you listen to on the radio. Some are excited about him, some are starting to get disappointed already. But what did you think? We were watching Red Zone, so we didn't see the whole game, but what are your thoughts about the Patriots this season?
And my thoughts for the Patriots, I think the running back situation is kind of strange. He drafted rookie running back Travion Henderson, and I believe he only got like 5 carries. He did contribute on the offensive receiving side of the ball, but I think they should involve him more. Like you've seen the continued ineffectiveness of Ramondre Stevenson, especially on the goal line, and he fumbles. I think they should really focus on this guy who has so much potential in Travion Henderson, and I think it'll help them in the rushing game. As I noticed in their game, in the little glimpses we saw from Red Zone, that they were passing a lot, and you don't want to really overwhelm Drake May with that. And Drake May is still a little inexperienced, so you want to kind of have a mix of an offense and not entirely pass the ball much. And then, the Patriots dug themselves into a hole there with with not really having Travion Henderson in a large role, and giving Ramondre Stevenson the lead carries for minimal yardage and minimal production. So next week, I definitely want to see the Patriots playing the Miami Dolphins, who have a mediocre defense from what we've seen. I want them to have Travion Henderson involved a little bit more.
Oh, good. Ed, we don't need to bore everyone with all my other chicken scratch notes here, but what else caught your eye of last week? What any players stand out, or games in particular? You mentioned the Buffalo game. Any other games or players that really jumped out at you or that found was interesting to comment about this week?
Yeah, what I've found interesting this week is fantasy football and just everything that happened there. This was a strange week for football. I think mostly every single top receiver was mediocre, like Nico Collins, A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase. They all got under 10 points. So it's strange to see. They might have a little bit of rustiness going into the season, but it's just strange to see all these top receivers just struggling to contribute on the field. And these top 5 picks in fantasy drafts, they were really bad. So that was really interesting this week. All these defenses kind of focusing on the other team's best player and kind of focusing them to stray away. Like the Bengals and Joe Burrow struggling in the first week against the mediocre Cleveland Browns. They almost lost, only 1 point loss. And I believe if the Browns kicker made that kick, then they would have won that game. But yeah, just all these teams, their top receiver was mediocre, and then it was just very interesting to see how they adapted and eventually won or lost games.
Yeah, that was surprising. Nobody really stood out in the receiver area. I had Nico Collins on my team. How did you do on your fantasy? You're playing one league this year. I think you have a little story to tell us about that final Monday night game, Minnesota Chicago.
A big point in fantasy football was the DJ Moore fumble on Monday night. The very last play of the game, he caught a little lateral pass, and he ran it for a gain of 11 yards. But then he lateraled it back for no apparent reason at all, and then it counted as a fumble. So in fantasy football, it's -2 points for a fumble, and it ended up being -0.9 because he did get yardage. But it's just I'm lucky I didn't fall victim to this. I think I won by 0.4 points, but people were very angry at DJ Moore for losing them the game at the last possible moment. After a good game from DJ Moore, a solid game that would have won them the week, he suddenly fumbles at the end of the game on the very last play, and just lost a bunch of people's weeks, and I almost fell victim to that. I did for a second before they had the stat correction of the actual yardage he gained. But yeah, I felt bad for that in that situation, and it just shows how fantasy football can make you hate some players and Yeah.
It keeps you interested. But yeah, a lot of people had a bad beat on that one last week. But you've helped me with my fantasy. We're not on the same league this year. I'm on a different thing. But you helped me pick my team, and I won my league this week, points wise. So in first place, it was a good showing. Just had my receivers not showing up, but I had Josh Allen as my quarterback, which was an important pick, and he generated a lot for me. It's fun, yeah, because you're watching the fantasy football, you're cheering for one thing while cheering against another thing, and sometimes you even find yourself cheering against the team you really like, but you're more concerned about your fantasy points in your team. But it's been a lot of fun, and I hope we can continue on. And sorry for everyone with that bad beat on the DJ Moore thing. So why don't we go on to our week 2 pick sheet and see what we think about we can pick the games and see which ones we're most interested in and what kind of players are injured this week or coming back into week 2, who to watch?
Yeah, I'll make my picks first, starting with tonight's game, Thursday, September 11th, with Green Bay versus Washington. I personally have the Green Bay Packers winning this game because I noticed how good their defense was, and I just think they'll put a lot of pressure on Jaden Daniels and force them to run the ball a lot with a less than solid running back room with a rookie, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and veteran Austin Eckler. I think the Commanders will have a hard time scoring the ball. Like, if the Lions, who have a much better offense than the Commanders, can't score, then I think the Commanders are going to have a hard time tonight, and the Packers are going to take advantage with that run-pass game scheme they have. For the second game, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think Baltimore's going to crush Cleveland. I think Cincinnati's going to take it over Jacksonville, Dallas over the New York Giants. I have Chicago over Detroit. I think Chicago's defense is very similar to the Packers, and I think Detroit's offense will have a hard time getting started again. And I think Chicago, even with the mediocre play from Caleb Williams, will have maybe a 2 field goal lead, or it will be like a defensive battle. But I think Chicago pulls that one out. And unfortunately, after seeing the Patriots in week 1, I have to root against them. Even with Miami losing to the Indianapolis Colts, I think they still have the ability to win this game, maybe just barely. But I think Miami at the moment is better than New England's. And then for an interesting game, San Francisco versus New Orleans, with Brock Purdy being out 3 to 4 weeks. They have to start old Patriots quarterback Mac Jones. But I still think they pull it out over the horrible New Orleans Saints squad. They still have Christian McCaffrey, and I definitely think San Francisco will win that game. Buffalo versus the New York Jets, I have Buffalo winning that one. Pittsburgh versus Seattle, I have the Steelers winning. I liked how their offense looked, and Seattle just looked mediocre. Sam Darnold didn't look like he fit in there. I have the Rams beating Tennessee. The Rams showed a great defense against the Texans, and Tennessee... Cam Ward looked good, but their offense just couldn't get moving at all. I have Arizona beating Carolina, and Carolina's mediocre defense will get pummeled in that one. I have a unique take in Indianapolis beating Denver. I think this will be a great defensive battle, and I don't think Denver has the capacity to really win this game, because they only have Cortland Sutton and an injured Evan Ingram now as their receivers. And with Bo Nix struggling in week 1, I think Indianapolis pulls it out if Daniel Jones continues to play well, and they continue that great passing game they have, even with Denver's excellent defense there. I have Philadelphia beating Kansas City, because Kansas City is obviously injury-ridden, with Xavier Worthy being injured and Rashee Rice being suspended. So I think Philadelphia is going to crush Kansas City in that game. I have Atlanta beating Minnesota. I did like Minnesota's defense, but I think Atlanta's offense is just a bit better. Michael Penix Jr. looked good, so that'll be great. And something unique this week is 2 Monday Night Football games. For the first one at 7 p.m., the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Houston Texans. I think the Buccaneers will win that game. The Buccaneers have that strong pass rush, and the Houston Texans' offensive line is one of the worst in football, continuation from last year. So I think it'll be a hard time for C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins again. And for the last game of the week on Monday, the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders, I have the Chargers winning that game. I think it'll be a close one, but the Chargers looks great against the Chiefs defense, which is about like 10 times better than the Las Vegas Raiders defense. But I think it'll be a bit of a shootout there, where the Chargers will have a bit of a blowout. It can go either way, but I definitely think the Chargers will win that game. So we'll move on to your pick.
Well, that's an excellent analysis. Thank you for that. And before I forget, I don't think we even mentioned our records of last week. Our last week's picks, I ended up 11-5, but this guy over here ends up 12-4. It's pretty not too shabby right there. So somebody knows what they're talking about, and someone is trying to pick the brains of this other person. So it's pretty good. And again, this week we're at odds a little bit. Then again, you know a lot more about it than I do, and sometimes I can get lucky, but we'll see. I'm going for Washington tonight against Green Bay, even though Green Bay looked really good last week. I have no actual rationale for that. What I do is I look at my team scouting type things and who the pros pick for how they're going to end up in each division, and then I just kind of look at them, read about the teams, and if I don't agree, I'll draw an arrow up or an arrow down, and that's kind of what I do just based on that. And sometimes I'll look at a player if I know someone's injured and so forth, but that's about it. So I go to Washington tonight against Green Bay. I've got Baltimore against Cleveland. That's pretty straightforward. I'm going to go Cincinnati against Jacksonville, Dallas against the Giants. I'm going to stick with Detroit. I think Detroit can pull it out against Chicago. And I don't know, Miami they just looked like they're in trouble. I don't know what's going on with them, so I'm picking New England. I think New England is going to kind of fight back. They think, hey, we are a better team than this. Let's beat Miami this week. Though it looks like they're at Miami, but I think New England may pull that one out. San Francisco, I've picked to win over New Orleans, even with Mac Jones. I mean, I'm not going to totally write him off. I think he got shortchanged. I think while he was in New England, he had some really poor coaching at the time, and he does make some poor decisions, but I can't put him in the bin yet. I think he may be able to do something for San Francisco. Buffalo against the Jets. Seattle-Pittsburgh, that's going to be an interesting game. I've picked Seattle, probably wrong on that one. I picked the Rams against over Tennessee. Arizona over Carolina. And again, this one is interesting. You'd mentioned it as well, this Denver-Indianapolis game. Put a little mark next to that to watch that one closely, but I've picked Indianapolis as well. Philadelphia over Kansas City. So for those reasons that you've mentioned, Kansas City just keeps injuries or suspensions or whatever kind of problems they're having. So Philadelphia is going to beat them in that one. Atlanta, I've picked Atlanta, Minnesota. Put a question. I don't know how smart that one is, but I've picked Atlanta on my quick first run through on that. And then we're at odds on the Monday night game. I've picked Houston to beat Tampa Bay, and I've picked Las Vegas to beat the Chargers. So those are long shots, but we'll see how it goes. But congratulations on your excellent picks last week, and hope you the best this week.
Yeah, congratulations to you too. So let's move into a bit of baseball talk in late season for the Red Sox. This month of September, that obviously means September call-ups, and we've called up a rookie pitcher in Connolly Early. Who was really strong this Tuesday. He had 11 strikeouts against the Athletics in his major league debut and only 5 innings, I believe. So that was exciting to see something like that happen. And the Red Sox might have a weapon with these young pitchers in Peyton Tolle and now Connolly Early. And hopefully Kyle Harrison, who they received in the Rafael Devers trade, will be good in the future, but I don't believe he's been called up yet. Yesterday, it was an unfortunate loss for the Red Sox. Closer Aroldis Chapman gave up 2 streaks he had yesterday. He gave up 2 hits in a tie game in the 9th, snapping a streak of 17 straight hitless outings across 50 batters, and as well, he let up the run and ended up losing the game, which was, I believe, like another streak for his no earned runs. The next is a home series against the Yankees, who recently lost to Detroit 11-1 yesterday at Yankee Stadium. A very important series coming up. we're right next to the Yankees in the standings of 3 games behind the Blue Jays. So if we can sweep them and continue to be dominant against them like we've been doing this year, we can really take a dominant lead this late in the season with only about 2 or 3 series left after the Yankees, and really take the first wild card spot and maybe receive home field advantage for a wild card game, or even maybe have a chance to take the division sneakily from the Blue Jays, who have been falling behind. I believe a couple months ago they were 6.5 games back, but they've slowly been going down 3 games now. So it's just hopeful, but this series is probably one of the most important for this year.
Yeah, it's exciting, yeah, because even when the Red Sox earlier in the year were kind of so-so, they still had the Yankees number. I mean, they've been quite successful against the Yankees, and I hope they continue to in this upcoming series. Yeah, and it's going to be an exciting stretch through September, and see how the playoffs, how they play out. Hopefully we can get some leg up on the Yankees and then move closer and perhaps surpass the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to mention quickly here before we sign off is a big boxing match coming up this Saturday between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. I believe it's for the undisputed super middleweight championship. It's Saturday night in Las Vegas. Crawford is moving up an additional 14 pounds to challenge for this title. Alvarez is 63-2 with 37 knockouts, and Crawford is 41-0 with 31 knockouts. It airs on Saturday night on Netflix. I think coverage begins at 3:30, and the main event's about 8 or 9.
Yep.
And I'm hopeful, but also not hopeful, as Netflix has struggled with the broadcast for boxing before, and I don't expect to see a moment of it without a considerable amount of lag, but I'm hopeful, and that'll be a great match and something to watch on Saturday next to college football. So yeah,
it's going to be exciting. I mean, I was just reading an article about the struggles of boxing in terms of how to actually watch it. It used to be on HBO and Showtime, and they've dropped it, so you don't see a lot of boxing on television anymore. And now Netflix is attempting it again, but unfortunately in their previous attempts at it, it's just struggled. So maybe we can tune in, and maybe we can see the whole boxing match this Saturday night. Hopefully watch some of the undercards and make it to the main event. To toss up. But that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was great, and thank you for listening or watching or however you're keeping track with our podcast, and we appreciate the positive feedback on the first episode. We continue to plan to do these every Thursday, so it's a nice and special look at the next week of NFL football. And yeah, that's signing off. I'm Andrew, and this is Peter, and that was Andrew Sports Zone episode 2.
Thank you.